preach the gospel to people.
Okay.
Are you a Christian?
I don't know. Kind of.
Yeah. Oh.
Kind of.
Well, what do you mean, kind of?
Even a higher power, but not like not per se Jesus. You know.
Why not?
I don't know. Good question.
At least you're honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I believe in life and everything. What if that child was born into a family that doesn't want to take care of them, you know?
Well, what does the law of God say? It's written on your heart, written on my heart. You know what it says?
I don't know.
You shall not murder.
Right.
That should answer the question.
Yeah, that answers it. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like,
There you go.
yeah, I think everyone's got their own opinion on things.
Well, we all have opinions, but some opinions are wrong. They're invalid. And
Invalid to what, though?
what's that?
Invalid to who?
Well, based on the evidence. Based on the law of God, which is the ultimate authority. Based on...
How do you know he's the ultimate authority?
What's that?
How do you know he's the ultimate authority?
Well, because it's written on your heart. Because how can we know anything apart from the law of God? I mean, you look at any book. Why do you trust the author of any book, any science textbook, any medical journal, anything written? How do we know to trust the author? But God is perfect, and because He's perfect, He makes no mistakes, and so we can trust Him. And right there, His authority is ultimate. No, God's always right, and we often are wrong as human beings. And as you can see on the sign, sometimes we're deadly wrong. We're wrong in a murderous way or a deadly way.
Yeah,
And even check this out. Even the Wisconsin law, if you look it up, statute 94004 uses this wording, as I read it recently. Unborn child means human being from the time of conception. Uses that very wording. So I mean, even our own law in this state, we murder babies in this state. Even the law in this state says these are human beings. It says unborn child.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that's the ultimate authority. I mean the law. I'm just saying that even the law in a pro-abortion, pro-homosexual state says this is a human being. And common sense declares these are human beings, and the law of God ultimately declares these are human beings.
Yeah, but then what happens when that human being is raised in a bad family and then ends up hurting someone because they're raised in a bad way? What if that human being ends up murdering someone because how they were raised? Instead, they could have just been... They could have been aborted, and that would never have happened.
So do we murder them in the womb so they don't murder somebody outside the womb? When we don't know the future?
Right, yeah.
Well, you know what we're doing in that case? We're playing God with human life. We as sinful human beings are playing God when God alone is the author of life. He alone has the authority to give life and to take it. Now, we do take life because we're evil. But
I can see that. But, yeah, I don't know. I got my opinion, you got yours. I think we'll leave it at
well,
that.
just don't go by your own opinion. I mean, I don't go by my own opinion. I go by the law of God, and I go by, honestly, common sense, because God does give us common sense and reason to where we can logically think about things and reason. And the law of God, common sense, reason, even our own Constitution, the law of Wisconsin, all points to the fact that this is murder and that we shouldn't be doing this. Not only this, but I mean, there's so much wickedness in this country, in this state, and we want to justify it, like saying that you can murder a child in these circumstances, or you can live the homosexual lifestyle because it makes you happy, or you can get a divorce, or you can steal because it makes you happy. And ask yourself this question: why are there riots? Why are there protests? Why are people so upset about what happened to Mr. George Floyd? Going on 2.5 weeks ago. Why are people upset about that? think it's just that? You don't think it's just because a man was murdered in cold blood by a police officer?
All that too.
But even that, whether he had darker skin or skin, whiter skin, whatever the color of the skin, why would anybody be upset over that? Why would anybody be upset that there were civilians standing by, watching, even filming the murder, not lifting a finger to rescue him?
Because it was an innocent.
Because what?
It was an innocent person.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear above that tolerance.
It was an innocent person being killed.
Well, innocent that he hasn't committed a crime that we're aware of that deserved death penalty.
Right.
But the thing, what in human beings says that what happened to him was wrong? Why was that wrong? But it's not wrong to murder a baby, or it's not wrong to do other things. Because people wouldn't be outraged if you saw in a video someone stealing a woman's purse. There wouldn't be riots across the country. There wouldn't be protests. So there's a difference between someone stealing a purse or a wallet and murdering a man in cold blood.
Right.
So it's just something to think about. Like, there's a reason for that. Even people who aren't Christians, a lot of them actually, these Black Lives Matter people, protesters, they're not, most of them aren't Christians, I know, because I've talked to them, I've encountered them. And they think about why there's something in them that says this is wrong. There's something in them that says this is so wrong, I'm going to take time and energy and protest this evil. So what is that?
What I don't believe, like, you got a point, but there's still though is the fact that if the parent doesn't want the kid, it should be up to them to decide.
Well, take that same child and now go a little later in life where they're 2 years old. Let's say that the child's given the mother a very hard time, the father a very hard time.
Right.
I mean, there's a child of friends of mine who cries all the time.
Right. And the parents weren't ready to have the child. Right?
Well, but consider this: the child is 2 years old. Should either the father or mother, say the mother, should she be able to slice the throat of that child?
Not at that point.
Why? And just consider carefully why or why not.
Well, I mean, at that point, it can almost think for itself. Whereas here, it can't think for itself,
So, but what determines the value of a born child and a preborn child? Why is it? Is it really?
It should have a set age.
Why?
Where it is, where it is okay.
Okay to what?
Okay to have abortion.
But why? And whatever your reason is, think about the basis for that reasoning, like how you come to that reason. And if the basis for that reasoning, if it's on solid ground or on sinking sand.
I think we're just going to keep going back and forth.
I'm just trying to help you to reason through your thinking, to think logically about if it's okay for a mother to murder her baby, why that is.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting to change your mind. I just want you to think reasonably through it. Because I mean, what you're doing right now, most people, I see very few people do that, and I appreciate it.
Conversation.
Well, where they're actually thinking about it. They're not just like, those, pro-choice, it's a murder babies.
Right.
I see very few people actually think about it.
Yeah.
They reason through it.
I try to be reasonable. I try to see both sides.
Well, that's good. And I've asked myself if I'm wrong about this. But all the evidence I've seen in the Spirit of the Lord that lives in me says, no, you're right. And says that I'm right because God is the authority. And all the evidence is...
What if there's a different type of God? What if there's multiple gods? What if there's...
Well, the first commandment says you shall have no other gods before me.
What about all the other religions out there?
Well, they teach that you can work your way to heaven.
Right.
Which is not true. I mean, the Bible says you can't work your way to heaven. That's why Jesus Christ came to die.
Yeah.
And Christianity has proven itself over the centuries that, I mean, there is a reason that we still have the Bible, even though it's been the most hated, banned, burned book in history by far. And
I mean, I kind of believe in all religions. Right? I don't like. I like take bits and pieces of different religions and try to just the good parts of religions. I like to take. I don't know. I'm weird. So So just
Well, the difference is that when you have with Christianity, and from my understanding, all other religions are the opposite. Christianity teaches you can't work your way to heaven, but there was another one who did it for you, Jesus Christ. All these other religions, they teach that you can work your way to heaven.
well, to me, Jesus was just a guy who had an opinion on things and really stuck to his opinion until he ended up dying from the Romans, basically.
Well, do you think he was God? Do you think he was a prophet? Do you think he was a good man?
Oh, I think he was just like you and me. He was just a guy who had an opinion and just he wanted to spread love, right? That was his goal.
Well, he wanted to save people from their sins. And he was the most loving human being who ever existed.
Yeah.
Because he was God in human flesh.
Yeah.
But do you know that, have you read the Bible?
Not much.
Well, if you read the book of John, the Gospel of John, it's in the New Testament. The Lord Jesus Christ, multiple times, he declares that he's God. And they tried to stone him to death because of it. He said, before Abraham was, I am. He was saying that he was God. And he also said in the book of John, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other cooler religions out there, honestly.
Well, but they'll lead you to hell. They'll lead anyone who trusts him into hell.
Not necessarily.
According to Jesus Christ, they will.
Well, why is he the only one to listen to?
Because he's God, and he proved he was God. He proved it the ultimate proof was him rising from the dead. He was murdered upon the cross and he rose again from the dead, conquering death.
Yeah, but maybe he didn't die. Maybe he just...
Oh, he did. The evidence is overwhelming that he died. The Roman soldiers that murdered him, they were skilled. They knew what they were doing. They knew how to kill people. They made sure he was dead.
Right. Yeah.
And also, how could he have possibly gotten up? Like let's say that he swooned or fainted. How could he have possibly gotten up, moved a stone? I believe it weighed 2 tons. Moved that. He's already been almost bludgeoned to death.
Well,
He moves it.
What if that was just a story?
Well, there's been a lot of people. All the people that saw Jesus Christ, there were hundreds of witnesses, and even secular scholars and historians verified what happened, that he rose from the dead. He conquered, that this happened. You just look at the evidence.
We'll just have to agree to disagree on this.
You just look at the evidence. I mean, I'm convinced because...
We're just going to agree to disagree, I mean, I don't feel like it's America, you can do it, free country.
Well,
you kind
this is somewhat.
Yeah. But, I don't know, I think it's good that you're out here, just, you believe strongly in your opinion.
Well, it's the Spirit of God that lives in me, that lives in us.
Yeah.
And
I do. Christianity is it is a good religion, but there's also other ones out there that are good too. So.
Well, they teach the opposite thing.
Well,
The complete opposite. One, you can work your way to all these others. You can work your way to heaven. Christianity, you cannot work your way to heaven because the Bible says that no one is good, no, not one. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God.
yeah.
If we're not good, how can we work our way to heaven?
Right. It teaches you good morals. Definitely. I think it does. But I don't know. I got my opinion.
Okay.
I think we'll just agree to disagree.
Well,
leave it at that.
I just exhort you to turn away from your sin and trust in Christ.
Yeah. No.
Because we're all going to die one day.
Right. That's.
We're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
And I mean, right now, you're on your way to hell. I'm just telling you that because.
Not necessarily. If you say that.
You don't have to believe it. I'm just telling you that right now you're on your way to eternal destruction, and you can turn to Christ and be reconciled to God.
Yeah.
I know it's a hard truth to hear. I know.
I don't know. I think it's just a boring life when you live like that.
A boring life. What do you mean?
Well, there's more to life than just Christianity. I'm gonna say that.
Not when God saves you.
There's
I used to live for this world.
Buddhism, there's Islam, there's Muslim, there's all these other religions that are pretty cool.
Well,
You look into them.
they're not cool and they lead you to hell. They're not cool and they teach you to do all these things for, so that so that Allah or Muhammad or Buddha will be happy with you.
Yeah. No, I believe in that, but you got to have an open mind for things too.
Well, some people have their minds are so open their brains are falling out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm open, but I mean Jesus Christ has saved me, and I'm not going to be open to religions that send people to hell.
I don't know. We're just going to agree to disagree. So.
Okay, well, just want to give you some truth.
I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.